I know I bring this up like every week, but there are people who are genuinely not watching this half of the season because they read it in the manga and they think they know what it is. When you get stuff like this. But with that said, hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another one of our weekly My Hero Academia Season 5 discussion videos. Today we're here to talk about Episode 8, Match 3 Conclusion. But before we get into the video proper, quick reminder if you haven't done so yet, to hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, set notifications to all, let all of AnyTube know that you're here. I'm going to hit you with a hard one this week. I'm going to say 200 likes. 200 likes before the end of the day. I'm very curious to see if we can hit that. But with that said, let's go ahead and jump into this week's episode. Now, why did I open by taking a pot shot at some people who maybe just didn't feel like watching this one? They're like, nah, I remember the Class 1A versus Class 1B thing. Yeah, right? Like I don't want to watch it because I've read it in the manga, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. They're not the same thing. Like, I can't stress that enough. I know manga fans think that manga's the end-all be-all, and maybe it's just because I've never enjoyed manga myself. I find the medium to be insanely boring. But I know people who have read manga who are aware that the anime is always going to be a different thing. And the anime brings with it certain attributes and certain elements to the series that maybe makes it better. Example, JoJo's Part 5 is actually made better by being in animated form according to most manga fans. Most manga fans agree that Part 5 is actually better in animated form because you actually know what the hell King Crimson is. But with Class 1A versus Class 1B, we are once again seeing a situation where apparently the anime is actually superior to its manga counterpart in this one arc. Because for a lot of people, and again, not a manga guy, never gonna be, I'm not interested, right? Like, I've tried, it's not my thing. If it's your thing, awesome. It's just not for me. I don't enjoy. However, I have been told that this half of the series this portion of the series felt really rough because you're waiting, I suppose, like weeks in between, and it feels like the fights keep dragging, and you just kind of want it to hurry up, right? Like, for a lot of people, they just wanted to get back to the Endeavor thing, and so there wasn't enough incentive for them to stick around through the Class 1A stuff, or Class 1B stuff, I should say. And, you know, I'm a Class 1B guy, Monoma's my son, so I'm a little annoyed by that, but hey, I didn't read it, maybe it was boring. However, to say that this arc is boring in the anime, I need to know what you're smoking, because whatever it is, it's not good for you. It's clearly clouded your judgment, because this is some top tier stuff. This is absolutely flawless. The fact that they were just like, you know what? Just because we know JoJo talks too much, likes Ida. That's definitely why they did that. just for me, clearly. Definitely why. But no, they're like, just because. How about we just throw Yutaka Nakamura in there to animate Recipro Turbo. Just cuz. And you get that amazing shot of Ida, like, flying through space and time. Like, not actually, but it looks like he is. Like, he's going so fast. When he, like, breaks out of the ice, you get the classic Utapon cubes, and it's marvelous. This is like a sight to behold, this moment between Ingenium and Mudman, right? Ida just, like, putting the pedal to the metal quite literally, and, like, actually going as fast as he can. Like, you see, like, the true speed of Ingenium. Oh, it was sick. It was so cool. I know I'm supposed to be, like, a lot more calm in these videos, right? I'm supposed to be, you know, the chill, lo-fi side of AnyTube, and we are. But man, listen, man, sometimes in music, even in lo-fi, you get the drop. And that's where I'm at, where I'm like, look, man, I have to gush. And I gotta gush about this scene because, like, Nakamura, there's a reason why people say Yutaka Nakamura is, like, one of the reigning kings of fight animation, right? Between all the stuff they've done with My Hero, the stuff they've done with Mob Psycho, One Punch Man, FMA, Bebop, Soul Eater. There's a reason why they're viewed in such high esteem. And it's for moments like this, especially the friggin' cubes. As soon as I see Utapon cubes, I'm like, yes, fish, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, and yes, I say yes, fish, because I think of banana fish. Anyway, and yeah, I totally ripped that off of you-know-who. But, yeah, there's just something about the animation of Ida just going in the way he does, and I loved everything with Ida. You guys know I said it last week that I love Ida. I think he's easily one of the characters in the show that I love the most. I just find Ida very there's something about the whole straight-laced, like sort of stick in the mud type character that I find to be really engaging. And Ida just has that in spades. He's just a character you'll love to see, and it's not just the hype, right? Like, it's not just the hype of seeing Resipro Turbo, although that's part of it. It's, to me, the fact that there's actual genuine character growth in this arc. I've seen so many people say that this is nothing but just fights for an arc because Horikoshi needed a break. And to which I have to say, like, I don't know what show we're watching, if that's how you feel. Like, I don't think we're watching the same thing. Because, like, between Ida and Todoroki this week, between Shinso a few weeks prior, like, everything we got with Tokoyami, with, like, Kendo and Momo, I see nothing but actual progression here, and I actually will legit, no joke, call people fair weather fans when they jump back in. Because, like, if you're missing this, you're missing character beats for these characters. Yeah, it's not Deku, it's not Bakugo, right? I mean, not till next week. But it is characters who are important, like Ida, like Todoroki, you know, like characters who we give a damn about, like Kendo and Momo, right? Characters who we've been waiting to see for a long time get some development, like Shinso, right? Like, these are important moments, and it really bums me out that people are like, I'll just come back in when the My Villain saga starts. Fair weather fan. Fair weather fan. I'm not gonna be nice about it. Y'all are some fair weather fans. You're only around when you get your villains, right? You're only around. Those are the people who are only watching the show so they can pretend like, yeah, I was here the whole time. Like, I'm sorry, but that's how I view some of y'all. Not all of y'all, but some of y'all. Because I don't know how you could miss out on this greatness. I don't know how you can miss out on a Nakamura cut. I don't know how you can miss out on Ida's growth, on Todoroki's growth. I don't know how you can miss out on the Class 1B shine. I simply don't get it. If you're not watching it because you didn't like this arc, I can at least respect that. But if you're not watching this because you heard other people say that this arc was to be skipped, fair weather fan. I will give the respectful nod to manga fans who have read this and just didn't feel like it. Like, if that's the case, I understand. I would stress that the anime and the manga are different things, and you should still watch it, but at least I can respect that, because you still experienced this arc. You just did it through manga form. I can respect that, right? The people who are not watching because it's not hype right now, whack. You are fair weather fans. You are cringy to me. And I'm sure they find me cringy, but I don't give a shit. I call it like I see it. Like, only being around just so that you can pretend like you were part of the fandom the whole time, weak sauce. Weak sauce. How are you gonna miss this? How are you gonna miss my boy Ida prioritizing the protection of Todoroki versus actually going out there and get the dub, because that's what his brother would do? Like, that's the kind of stuff that you're missing, man. Like these moments of great imports, right? These moments of insane importance. Like, Ida, like, the reinforcement of his brother's lessons, right? Like, seeing Ida still beat himself up. Seeing Ida find a new rival in the form of Mudman. Like, the fact that these two are sort of like perfect rivals, right? This person who is known for their great speed and the guy who can turn that speed off, right? Mudman could be a Flash villain, right? Like, his quirk is perfectly suited to stop speedsters, and yet Ida still gets the drop on him, right? But then Mudman retaliates by doing the exact same thing, right? Like, they're perfect rivals. And you end it with Ida and Mudman and Todoroki all agreeing to fight again, and Tetsu as well. Like, they all want to train against each other again. Each of these characters have this moment where they're going toe to toe. They're combating each other in ways that they haven't really experienced before. They're like perfect rivals. It's insane. It's insane to me that people would skip out on that. And like Todoroki, think about Todoroki. I probably made Todoroki the thumbnail because like, how are you gonna miss this? Like, how are you missing this? Like, it boggles my mind. Like Todoroki remembering the harsh training with Endeavor and embracing the flames in order to, how should I say this? In order to go further beyond. Plus Ultra. You said it before I did, and I know you did. And that's sad, because I'm not even there to actually hear you. It's not sad. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. You said the thing. But yeah, he goes beyond Plus Ultra. He goes Plus Ultra, because that's what he needs to do in the moment. And Tetsu keeps hammering that home, like, I'm gonna go beyond. I'm gonna go Plus Ultra. Like, as he's like going toe-to-toe with Todoroki, Tetsu proving to actually be an insanely formidable foe for Todoroki, which is crazy. Like, Todoroki had a rival in Tetsu, and none of us really clued in. Like, I didn't even really think about the fact that I'm like, oh yeah, Tetsu's steel. So he can actually kind of, like, resist some of the heat that Todoroki can dish out. Can't resist it completely. Like, he could still melt Tetsu if it gets too hot. But Tetsu is actually able to sort of withstand the flames, and he becomes Hot Tetsu, as Pony calls him. Hot Tetsu. And that's like, and even Todoroki's like, Jesus, he's like glowing, right? Because he's just retaining the heat. And he says, like, I might be burning up right now, but I know Todoroki is too. So this is actually going to be a battle of endurance. And that was such a sick moment to see, like, Todoroki be put up against the wall like that, to be, like, pushed back on his heels so much by, of all characters, Tetsu, one of the boys, right? Like, one of the Class 1B greatness, pushing Todoroki, of all people, like, one of the three musketeers, pushing him up against the wall, like unable to really even combat beyond just, like, trying to outsmoke him. Like, just trying to heat himself up to a point where Tetsu can't even get close to him. Right? Like, it's insane. And, like, we see, like, him, like, almost burn himself out, and then Todoroki gets just beamed upside the head by a pipe and almost knocked the hell out. And it's up to Ida to save him. And Ida's just clutch this whole episode. But Todoroki, like, embracing the fire, right? Like, embracing that side of him, I think is so important. Like, we saw that in the, like a long time ago. Like a long time ago during the sports festival. Like, we saw that, right? But we only saw him do it in that moment, and he's sort of been reluctant to do it since, right? Like, again, Deku hammers home, like, it's yours. Like, it's not his, it's yours. But in this moment, we see Todoroki, like, really realize that he has to stop being so reliant on his ice, right? Like, Mudman even tells him, like, if you would come at us with more aggression, we wouldn't have been able to react the way we did, right? Like, he says that to him, like, last week. And this week, Todoroki recalls that moment, realizing if he had hit him with fire first, they would have been done. But he hit him with ice instead, and that's how Mudman was able to get the drop on him. Todoroki is far too reliant on the cold instead of the hot, right? He needs to be, I get that he wants to be more cold than hot, but he has to be more hot than cold sometimes. And it's realizing that he can rely on that it's not only his father's, right? It's not just Endeavor's, it's his too. It's his quirk, and he has to embrace that and battle forward. It's just it's reinforcing, like, even with Ida, right? It's reinforcing a lot of these lessons that we've touched on but never really explored. And then this arc is, like, allowing these characters to really realize that to their full potential, to further hammer these lessons home and actually really let these characters grow into themselves. This is the in-between point between, like, being a hero in training to actually growing to being a hero, embracing these quirks, embracing the weight of legacy, which we talked about last week, the weight of legacy that both Ida and Todoroki feel, embracing that and knowing that they can use that. Because Todoroki says himself that he feels as though he was the slow one, that Ida wasn't slow, that Ida wasn't the one who screwed up, it was him. right? And it's him feeling the weight, right? In the same way that Ida feels the weight of his brother's legacy to be the guy who always goes out of his way to save others. Like, that's what's really cool. That's what makes a cool hero, right? Like, somebody who saves people above all else, saves others above anything, right? Above the glory, above, like, the status, you save people. That's what a hero does. And you pair that up against Todoroki, who feels the weight of living in the shadow of Endeavor, this man who really put him through the ringer, who really hurt him deeply, right? And yet is trying to make amends with him, and now Todoroki is struggling with the idea of embracing this side and making that fire his own. It's still so good all this time later to see Todoroki like struggle with the torment of, can I really, like, is this fire actually mine? And yes, it is. It's handed down, right? Like, in the same way many quirks are, in the same way Ida's quirk is. It is passed down, but just because it comes from somebody else doesn't mean it's not yours. And I think that, like, we really hammer that home this week with Todoroki, who, again, gets just, like, a super sick fight. And, yeah, I wanted to just stress that I feel like Ida and Todoroki got sick moments this week to just be badasses, and it bothers me that people are skipping out. However, the thing we like to do here at the end of these videos, or I guess the second half of these videos, because sometimes this section of the video goes on a little bit long, but the thing we like to do around here is we like to do some design time. We like to look at the character designs and try to parse what maybe the creators are trying to tell us about these characters. This part is always going to be a stretch, because it's literally just looking at colors and shapes and trying to, like, interpolate, it's not a word, but maybe it is, to try to guess what the creator is trying to tell us about those characters. We are almost always wrong, but it's fun. Well, I shouldn't say always wrong. Sometimes I'm right. Sometimes design time works out in such a way where I actually do guess something correctly, and that kind of thing's always fun. But I do want to talk a little bit about some of the character designs. Last week we talked about Tetsu and Mudman. This week I want to talk about Spiral and Rocketti, who, if you don't know, that's Pony's hero name. Rocketti. I don't even think they said it in the episode. I had to find that out through the My Hero Wiki. But with that said, Spiral. We're going to start with Kaibara. So, Spiral, admittedly, the design is a bit bland. However, that doesn't stop me from liking the character. Sometimes a bland character design makes me not interested in a character, since, I look for designs a lot. I find designs, especially when it comes to, like, shonen protagonists, if your design's boring, I'm going to assume you yourself are boring. And, like, admittedly, Spiral's design on the surface isn't cool, but the character themselves is actually very cool. I thought Kaibara had a lot to deliver this week. I thought he was actually, like, a pretty cool force to be reckoned with, especially against Ojiro, who, like, this poor dude, like, everybody being like, haha, he's ordinary. I'll never get that joke. It's never been funny. It's not gonna be funny. Like, stop it. It's not funny. It's never gonna be funny. Stop. Okay, it's a little funny, but, like, geez. But Spiral, like, takes it to Ojiro, and my boy just cannot get a dub to save his life. Poor Ojiro. But we see that Spiral's outfit is this sort of, like, mostly white outfit, right? Like, there's this dark blue undershirt that he has, but he over top of it he has this white, like, all white jacket and mostly white pants. Now I say mostly white because we see that there's these sort of, like, the sleeves of his undershirt plus the bottom half of his pant legs have these gray spiral patterns, right? They're not actually, like, drills. They're just, like, a pattern on his clothing that makes it look like a drill, right? So it's just these sort of, like, gray and, like, light gray and dark gray spirals going across the arms, the bottom half of the legs, and the hands across Kaibara's fingers. He has, like, these little, like, hero equipment that, like, spins his fingers for him. So the reason for this is essentially, like, super obvious. It's just that when Spiral spins, right, if he was just spinning his arm, it would look freaky, but, like, imagine if the sleeve was all white. right? And you start spinning your arm, right? Like you can spin it like Kaibara, so you start spinning around in circles. If you look at it, you would see it spinning, like you would see the blur, but you wouldn't actually notice like any sort of like color, right? Like it would just be like, if it's all one thing, you would just see a blurry arm, right? It would sort of look like when, say, like Reverse Flash like shakes his hand so he can make like a sword out of it, right? Like he can vibrate his hand through people. It would sort of look like that if you're spinning it that quickly, right? Like you wouldn't be able to see it spinning because there's no spiral pattern there. That's why Spiral's design has those. So that way when it spins, it actually looks like a drill. It looks like he's actually spinning towards you. So you actually notice the different, because the pattern is going sideways, it almost looks like the ridges of a drill. So it looks like he's actually coming towards you, and it actually makes him a lot more intimidating. So I did like that little addition. Everybody probably knew that, so it's not like I'm blowing anybody's minds with that, but I think sometimes you got to point out the basics of a design, and I think that that's really cool. I like that he actually put that much thought into his design, or not Horikoshi, but in universe, the character of Kaibara, like thinking like, oh, I want it to have these spirals, so when I'm coming at somebody, it looks like a drill. That's cool. I like that, and it sticks within his character. Also, when it comes to like the colors themselves, I'm gonna be honest. White as a color, like if your character design is mostly white, it's a little boring. Like I'll admit, like the character design is a little bit boring. Like this sort of like white pants, white jackets, this sort of dark blue undershirt. The dark blue thankfully chops up the design a bit. Like, you know, it's not all one color. Sometimes you gotta have a little breakup. Fun fact, that's why Superman has the trunks. I've always seen people always like be like, how come Superman wears his underpants on the outside, right? Like, dude wears his underwear on the outside. Ha ha ha. Like him and Batman. I'm like, that's... Okay, so that conversation always bothers me, and Spiral's outfit allows me to talk about this. It's just to break up the suit. It's just to add a splash of color so it's not all one thing. It's why I hate New 52 Superman, and I know I'm going off tangent, but just bear with me. It's why I hate New 52 Superman's outfit. Not the character, just the outfit. Because New 52 Superman was okay. But, like, his outfit sucks. Because there's nothing breaking it up. It's all blue with like a splash of red. There's like tiny little red belt. That sucks. The trunks look better. Like they've always looked better because it's the splash of red. It changes the suit up. And with Spiral, to bring it back, the splash of blue, like that like dark blue in his shirt, it helps to break up the character design. It's the same thing with Shihai, where he had like the white gloves and boots to break up the design. If it was all black, it'd be a little bit boring. Right? It wouldn't look right. It just looks kind of off. Like, it doesn't really look like an outfit. If it's all the same color, you can't really tell where one piece of clothing starts, the other one ends, and the character design just kind of becomes bland and weird looking. That's why you have some like a block of color. That's why you have it to break it up a little bit. And I think adding that to Spiral is again really smart. Plus the fact that, you know, he has like the gray spirals pattern on the bottom and tops of his legs and arms. I think that it just looks cool. So again, on the surface, kind of a bland design. When you go into it, it actually looks pretty sick. And he has a super dope fight with Ojiro, which was animated by Kotomori, who, if you don't know who Kotomori is, they did a lot of the animation on Alicization, which I really enjoy. They didn't do all like the big fights, but they did do a lot of it. So Mori, you are top tier. And they've also done a lot of the My Hero stuff as well, like a lot of stuff from this season and season 4. A lot of like the big fight scenes. So Mori getting to do some more stuff, always appreciated. And as for the other character design that we got to talk about this week, we got to talk about Pony, who is adorable. I really like Pony. Pony Tsunatori, aka again Rocketi. I didn't even know that was her hero name. So like again, if it wasn't for the My Hero wiki, I wouldn't have known that. But Pony's design, I'm not gonna lie, when I see the design, right? It really gives me like the vibes of that one friend of yours who loves hanging out at the combination Starbucks and Indigo. You know what I mean? She's got like the wavy blonde hair and the big blue eyes, and she just has like that bubbly personality. Like I can see her being like, let's go hang out at the Starbucks right across. That's like the combination Starbucks and Indigo. So while we're having our chai tea latte, we can go sauntering through the bookstore. Okay, fun fact, and I know some of you guys are gonna be like, what? That actually is a nice time. I'm not gonna lie. I know like the joke is JoJo doesn't read, but like, that is a nice date. It's a fun time, I'm not gonna lie. I would go to the combination Starbucks in Indigo with Pony. That seems like fun. But yeah, her design really screams just sort of pleasant, right? There's something about the design that just makes you happy. I don't necessarily know if it's the hair and the eyes, although they do help to make her cute, right? The big, like, super big eye, like, blue eyes. It's just, like, cute. Like, there's just something about the design that's really charming and sweet. And it could honestly be the colors. The color of her outfit, the sort of like pale orange and beige, they're colors that we, as humans, like we like seeing that. It calms us down. I know some people who hate the color beige, right? People find beige to be such a boring color. And in all honesty, it can be, right? Like beige can be a boring color, but when combined with orange in particular, it's something about the combination of orange and beige. It's just like, it gives me like warm vibes, you know? Like it just makes me feel cozy. I don't know why. We see this occasionally in some marketing, orange and beige, just sort of makes you feel cozy. And you get that from looking at Pony. The colors are very wisely chosen for this design, I think. When it comes to the pale orange, you get this sort of youthful and encouraging color. Orange is typically like, you think of the sun, right? You think of like big energy, the sun, right? Like youth, right? You think of like energetic feelings come from orange. Whereas beige, a lot of calmness comes from beige, right? Calm, collected, maybe not collected, more like calm and relaxing. Right? Like the idea of beige is to make you feel good, right? Like it's beige. Doesn't stand out, right? It's not like all up in your face with the comfort, right? It's not like trying to make you comfortable. It just is comfortable, right? It's just nice. It's why a lot of rooms are beige, right? Like when you go to like an apartment viewing, the rooms will, the walls will be beige. Why? Because they're subtle, like the people selling you the apartment are subtly trying to make you feel at home. Beige is just comfortable. Beige is just a comfy, chill, calming color. Whether you know that's what they're doing or not, that's what they're doing. So I think adding that to her suit, it makes a lot of sense, right? Because like again, they're heroes, right? So the color matters. Like if I saw a hero in black and red, right? I'm thinking of Bakugo. I would think that hero is trying to be like edgy. If I see a hero in green, thinking of Deku, I would think that hero is trying to bring some restorativeness, right? Like they're trying to rejuvenate and make me feel better. Like they're trying to bring out some inner peace from me. Like that's what the color green does, right? If I see blue and white, I'm gonna think that they're there to protect me. They make me feel secure, right? Blue makes you feel secure. White is sort of like a pure, innocent color, right? So they're innocently trying to make you feel better, right? Like Ida. So when it comes to Pony, she's trying to make you feel encouraged but comfortable. When you see her, she wants you to know, I got your back, right? Like that's the idea that you get from Pony. She's sweet and she's got your back. I think that's perfect, actually. Sweet and got your back. Ironically enough, she also has stirrups and a saddle because she's a horse. Get it? Is she related to Jean from Attack on Titan? Sorry. So, I still got to make the horse jokes about Jean. I feel he's like my favorite character, but like, well, he's one of my favorite characters. Not my favorite character. That'd be Erwin. But yeah, I always got to make the horse jokes with Jean with Attack on Titan. I wonder if Pony and Jean are related. But yeah, the stirrups and the saddle. I'm not gonna lie, the saddle. The stirrups I think are adorable. The stirrups on the boots I think are hilarious. I think they're adorable. I think they tie in perfectly. I hate the saddle. I think the saddle is the one part of the design that I'm like, no. Because like any villain would see the saddle and grab it. Like it's the reason why Batman makes fun of Robin in, I can't remember what comic, but Robin tries to wear a hood and he's like, call me Hood. And Batman's like, do you know what any self-respecting criminal would do if they saw you with that hood? And he just yanks the hood over his head. And he goes like, you're Robin. You're not Hood, you're Robin. Robin Hood. That's where ramen comes from, if you're curious. It's actually because he's a bird. But that's what Dick Grayson thinks. But, yeah, I like the idea that, or I don't like the idea, rather, that she has the saddle. Because, yeah, do you know what any self-respecting criminal would do if they saw a hero with a saddle? They'd grab it. It's a bad idea. Like, anything that enables the villains to grab you is probably not something you want in a hero outfit. So my advice to Pony would be maybe ditch the saddle, but keep the stirrups, because they're super cute. Outside of that, though, great design. Outside of the saddle, I think it's a super good design. I do think Horn Cannon is also a lot more useful than I gave it credit for. Like, I wasn't anticipating Horn Cannon or Pony in general to be as badass as they are, but they are super badass. Like, the way that they control the horns is sort of similar to how Hawks controls his feathers. Like, so essentially Pony can fly, which is kind of cool. Now, she's no match for our boy Shoji, because Shoji's a badass, but it was cool. And I actually liked seeing Pony, like, get, like, essentially score the win, right? Like, it's more of a draw. In fact, it is a draw. But Pony actually plays the game correctly, right? Like, Pony's just like, well, yeah, being a hero is fighting, but being a hero is also keeping people safe. And sometimes that means running and hiding. So I'm going to take my squad. I'm going to take this draw as my victory. There you go, right? Pony actually does manage to pull something off in a pretty impressive way. So, but yeah, with that said, everybody, that is going to be my thoughts on this week's episode of My Hero Academia, so I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to boop that up snoot, share if you care, leave a comment down below, and of course, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, set notifications to all, let all of AniTube know that you're here. And before we go, as always, I want to give a big thank you to the good folks in the T Squadron. Look at these beautiful people. Look at all these beautiful names, and hey, if you would like to join these beautiful people, there are two ways to do so. The first is by hitting that join button right beside the sub button, or for just a single $1 a month, you can hit that Patreon link in the description. Either way, it is super appreciated. So once again, a big thank you to the good folks in the T Squadron. I really hope people get off their high horse and watch this arc. I am having so much fun, and it breaks my heart that people think that this arc isn't dope. Like, think about how hyped this episode was. There are people who won't even check this episode out. That breaks my heart. That just breaks my heart. Anyway, bye!